Okay guys, I'm finally making this video for you all because I know I've been promising this video for y'all. Today I am going to be talking about my experience and journey in corporate America as a Black male. I've had ups, I've had downs, I've witnessed bias, I've witnessed discrimination. So yeah, happy to share my experience with y'all and share this story. So first I want to say this, I enjoy, working in corporate America. I've enjoyed my experience and my journey to get to where I am now in my life. Everything that I talk about today, has propelled me and elevated me in a way that words can't even describe, because these experiences taught me about people. It taught me, how to move, how to maneuver. And some of these things that I say today, it's going to be like, well, dang. That's wild. But, at the same time, everything that you go through in life, you will learn a lesson from it. So, I've learned lessons. I kind of know how to maneuver now. I just know. I figured I can't start this video without saying how I even got started, right? And I hope some of y'all watch my pay transparency story journey video, and that's how this video even started. So as some of you all know, I started off in the hotel industry. Honestly, I graduated from the University of South Carolina with a management degree focused in hospitality management, and wanted to get into hotel management, resort management, be a GM, open up my own hotel. That ended up pivoting, but my experience in the hotel industry, it wasn't bad at all. I just hated dealing with customers. Customer and guest, it's a pain. And also the money wasn't the way it needed to be for all the stuff you had to do to move up. But that's for another day. I ended up pivoting to get into higher education. So higher education, if y'all don't know, that's when you work for a university, in a school system, college system, things like that. So I ended up going back to University of South Carolina. And there I was a admissions counselor / recruiter for 2 years. And then I spent a year as a multicultural coordinator, assisting with some of our multicultural programs. I stayed there for 2.5, 3 years. I enjoyed it there. My experience there was great. It was a wonderful atmosphere. Coworkers was great. Never experienced any bias, never experienced any discrimination. Everybody was happy to be there. The campus was beautiful. Students was great. It was a great job. The only problem was the pay. The pay sucked. And y'all have to go back and watch the video to understand, why. Where I was in my life, I needed to make more, I needed to provide more. So that's why I had to leave that job. So when I left that job, I ended up applying to a bunch of jobs, y'all. I applied to job after job. I had interviews with NASCAR. I had interviews with Airbnb, Twitter, a whole bunch of companies. Anyway, I ended up landing my first corporate job as a contractor. So I ended up applying for a recruiter job at Deloitte. They contacted me. They was like, yo, we're giving this recruiter role to someone else, but would you be open to a recruiting coordinator role? I was like, recruiting coordinator role. Mind you, I didn't know much about it. I was like, cool. And then they was like, the only caveat is I know that you applied in Charlotte, but we would need you to move to Atlanta for this particular role. I was like, all right, cool. I got family there. I'll move to Atlanta for a contract role, figure the rest out. So a recruiting coordinator is basically you help out recruiters with scheduling, office visits, things like that. So you're not out there doing the recruitment, but it's a good stepping stone to becoming a recruiter. My contract was technically for 6 months. So I started the role, moved down to Atlanta, went into the office. First person I saw was a Black young lady. Crystal, if you're watching this, I appreciate you. The only Black person that was technically on the team that I was on. She welcomed me with open arms. She was the first person I seen when I walked in the building. I'm dressed in, the Deloitte attire. If y'all know Deloitte, you got some khakis on, you got the button down on, you got a little brief thing, So I was ready. Crystal was very cool, you know what I'm saying? I'm still cool with Crystal to this day. One of my best friends that is a woman for short. Me and Crystal, we was like this, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know when you got that one friend in the office, y'all be here. But anyway, we was on a team and she was a coordinator and I was a coordinator. I was a coordinator for a couple of recruiters. She was a coordinator for a couple of recruiters. Both Crystal and I had the same manager since we both were coordinators. So this is where I got my first taste of being like a black male in corporate America. And it didn't help that I was the only black male on the coordinator team in like the Southeast. Maybe it was like maybe one or two of us, man. My first issue came when me and my manager, we would be talking and things like that. And I thought she trusted me, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't do anything for her not to trust me or anything like that. Somehow she told Crystal, like, oh, I don't think Corey is happy in his role, this and that, this and that. Can you talk to him and see? So Crystal told me, she was like, yeah, like such and such said that she feel like you're not happy on the team and you don't want to be here. And I was like, what? I ain't even doing that. I'm still trying to learn the role. I don't know what's going on. So that was the first thing. I was like, that's weird. I never experienced like another person going to another person directly about me without coming to me. And I remember Crystal saying, yeah, she said she feel like she can't gauge you or she can't really understand, not even understand. I think the word she used, like she can't read you or she can't gauge you. And I was like, what? Why she just didn't ask me or come to me in one of our one-on-ones and say, hey, y'all did like. So the second thing that happened on this team was one of the recruiters that I was assigned to as far as like being a coordinator for, she started treating me like I was just a little go boy. Like, that's it. Like, I remember, I'll never forget this. And I was pissed. I was working like maybe late. It was like 6 o'clock. I was working late, working on some scheduling, some interviews. And she emailed me and she was like, hey, can you get this pizza order out for me? And in the email, she had every detail, where the pizza needed to go, what the actual pizzas was, how many pizzas, what the toppings were. She was actually on campus recruitment and needed these pizzas to come. Mind you, I'm doing work. So I saw the email. I was like, what? The amount of time that it just could have took her to pick up the phone and order those pizzas, she went and made the email to send to me so I could then order these pizzas for her. It was the weirdest thing ever. So then I was like, this is so weird between my manager and then her. It was just wild to me because I never experienced anything like that. This is probably like month 4 within the contract. Remember, I have 6 months in. I was like, they probably are not going to renew my contract, even if they could, because I just have this bad vibe. You know what I'm saying? So then I started interviewing with other companies. Crystal hooked me up with one of her people that they was looking for a role at Accenture. Ended up applying to that role to be a campus recruiter for the AUC. And then that's when I started my next role. So I ended up leaving Deloitte before my contract was even over. Deuces, I'm out, and went over to Accenture. When I got my job at Accenture, I was happy. I was happy to leave Deloitte. I was happy to get up off that team because what I was experiencing, it was just, as y'all can see, it was just rough to be in that type of atmosphere, in that environment. So when I got to Accenture, everything was good. I had to recruit for the AUC, which is its own team. So Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark Atlanta had to recruit at those schools, be on campus, host events, hire, everything like that. And then I also had Georgia State, which was rolling out, and then I was taking on Kennesaw State. And then on my team, I had maybe 3 other recruiters with me, and we had some recruiting coordinators that used to help out. And due to my experience at Deloitte, I knew how to treat recruiting coordinators with respect. Don't just treat them as go boys and just to be saying, hey, do this for me, do this for me. So I kind of knew how to treat coordinators, and they respected that. And also all the recruiters on this team was cool too. Everybody was cool. It was a great time. It was me and this other girl that started, Nicole. If you're watching, shout out to you, Nicole. She started the same time. We was like, boom. And then the other recruiter, she was on the team probably 3-4 years before me, and then some other recruiters, but everybody was cool. My manager ended up getting a job and leaving. And then that's when everything went. Everything went downhill. So one of the recruiters that was working there before me ended up moving into that manager role. Now I was on campus all the time. I was, at Morehouse, Clark Atlanta, Spelman, on campus, hosting events, doing things the way they need to be done. You know what I'm saying? Campus team, making a relationship with the campus team. I was new, so I was still learning. I was still making mistakes. I was still, learning along the way. Still fresh. I was doing a great job. We had the highest percentage of accept rates when it came to offers. We hosted the most events. We was named the top employer on campus. And this was around the time where I got selected for the YouTube Next Up program. And they said, yo, we gonna fly you out to LA for a week and with other creators, and we gonna give y'all $10,000 and y'all can do whatever y'all want with it and a voucher to. I said, yo, I gotta do this. So I told my manager, I was like, look, I'm gonna be using PTO. And I didn't have to tell her what I'd be using PTO for. I had the days. I said, I'm going to take a week off using my PTO on this particular week. I said, since you're my manager, I'm going to tell you what's going on. I said, I'm taking a week off of PTO because, I got selected for the YouTube Next Up program and they're flying out maybe 10 creators out to LA to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm excited about this. So I'm gonna use my PTO so I can do that. She's like, all right, cool. Yeah, we'll have somebody cover for you. Yada, yada, yada. I went, did that, come back. I'm hopping on like team calls and stuff like that to help other teams and stuff like that. And this one girl's like, oh yeah, I heard, I think somebody said your manager said that you don't want to be here. And I was like, don't want to be here? What you mean don't want to be here? She's like, she told somebody you're not serious about your role. You don't want to be here. You just want to do content creation, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I never said none of that. I ain't never said none of that. So everybody on that team think anytime I get deployed to their team to help them out, I ain't gonna do no work and I don't want to be there. So she done started this rumor that I don't want to be there and I'm not doing no work, and people are starting to perceive me that way when my numbers and everything like that speak for itself. So that was flag number one. Flag number two is every time we have a one-on-one call, she ain't never said anything like that. Every time we have a one-on-one call, I'm asking her like, yo, I'm trying to grow in my recruiting career. Any type of advice that you want to give me, any professional development, anything like that. I would just give her some frequent updates of what's going on campus, where I'll be during that week. Because mind you, in this role, you had to be on campus, talking to the career centers, talking to the students, also doing your primary job as well as putting candidates through the process and all that stuff. So I was on campus almost on a weekly basis down at the AUC. And I would be on campus working in the student union, actually doing emails and stuff like that because I didn't have time. So anytime I used to do content creation, it used to be around like 10 p.m. at night, 11 p.m. at night when I'm done working and I have some time. She had a conversation with me and she was like, I feel like I don't know what you're doing or where you're at. I was like, you have access to my calendar. In our one-on-ones, I'll tell you where I'm going to be at, what events I'm hosting. You hop in on our AUC calls sometimes and you're there. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. Like, I'm giving you the visibility. She decided to tell her manager that I wasn't doing no work and that I wasn't serious about my role and things like that. And this is when they started to try to create a plan to get me up out of there. We get to the point to where she's like, okay, for now on, I need you to send me every Friday at 3 p.m. I need you to send me an email recapping everything you've done for the week. I was like, okay, I can do that. So I did that. I think she thought I wouldn't do it. Every single week I'm doing them. Boom. Probably 2 weeks after that is a call on my calendar with her and her manager. I was like, oh man, what's going on? She done wrote up a PIP plan. If y'all don't know a PIP plan, that is a plan for you to improve. And if you don't improve, you get fired. I'm on the call with her and her manager, and she telling me this, and I just feel like this, and da 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 da. It's a lot of I feel like, but it's no I knows or any demonstrations or you missing this. It's like I feel like this, and I feel like that, and I feel like you're this, and I feel like. She told me she feel like I don't talk to the team. I don't talk to the team. When I talk to everybody on the team on an individual basis, during team calls, I'm not saying too much because everybody got their own stuff to say. Unless I really need to say it, I'll say it. I'll kiki here and there, but I don't have much to input. Granted, I'm still new anyway. I'm about 2.5 years in at this point. I'm still learning as I go. I'm not trying to be the subject matter expert just yet. I'm still, I'm still doing my thing. And she's saying, well, yeah, I feel like you need to be more outgoing and this and that. I was like, how is what? I was so confused. I was so confused at why I was being put on a performance improvement plan because, like I said, I had some of the highest numbers on the team. It was crazy. So then I knew they was trying to get me up out of there. So as y'all can see where this is going. So I'm on this performance improvement plan. It went from me having to email her every single week on Friday to every single day at 3 p.m. I got to email her what I worked on every single day. So then in the performance improvement plan, it said I need to reach out to teammates even more. So then I had to start kikiing with everybody on the team. I had to be making small talk. I had to be like, how's your dog doing? How's your kitten doing? Pinging people. Man, I was getting done. I was doing a runaround, bro. Oh, let me rewind. Also, after the call with her and her manager, I said, yo, I'm gonna have just a conversation with her manager without her. So that's what I did. I had a conversation. The manager's like, I just think that y'all have some communication issues. Honestly, I think that's the main thing. Y'all need to communicate with each other more. And I was like, in our one-on-ones, that's what they're for. I'm communicating with her. I'm telling her what I'm doing. I'm telling her where I'm gonna be, what's going on, what's the results. I don't know what else I can do in order to communicate. She's not communicating with me. She's not telling me how she feel or what she want me to do or where she feel I need improvement at or where's the feedback or what if she could help me. Like she's not telling me. So we used to go to our one-on-ones and she didn't have not one bullet point for me. She just waited for me to say something or whatever, and that's it. Which that's okay. But if you have feedback or you have something you need to tell me, you put it on the agenda and we talk about it. But she had nothing. She just came on a one-on-one. Hey, how you doing? What you got for me? And I tell her, and that's it. So yeah, after I had the conversation with her manager was like, yeah, y'all just have communication issues. That's all it is. She was like, I feel like your performance have been great from my point of view. But she's the one that's directly managing you. And it just sounds like y'all have communication issues. And I think that's the main thing. But either way, after the time has passed for my performance improvement plan, I rocked it out. I was good. They ain't had no case to fire me. They ain't had, at the end of it, they kept me because I did everything that I needed to do. I've been doing the same exact stuff that I was doing before I was even put on that plan. So I already knew the plan wasn't gonna be to fire me because I'm doing everything that's already on the plan. I wish I would have kept that plan. I thought I did. We ended up having a reorg on our recruitment team. Some recruiters got outplaced somewhere else. I got put on a candidate management team. So now I got a new manager. Me and that manager was like, here, we was good. We was good. Everything's good. I was doing my work. One-on-ones went great. Everything was good. I'm finally feeling like I have what I need in order to be good. Thankfully, during this time, I wasn't looking at the time. I was looking, but then when we got pivoted to another team, I wasn't looking anymore. But I ended up getting a message from a recruiter on LinkedIn 2 times, one for a contracting role and one for a full-time role. First, it was a contract role. It was like, hey, we got a contract recruiter role. Wouldn't mind you joining the team, yada, yada, yada. Would you be okay having a call? Had the call, was going through the interview process. Then another recruiter reached out for a full-time recruiter role. And I was like, you know something? I'd rather go that route. And, both of them at Google. So I was like, shoot, put me on, you know what I'm saying? So went through the interview process with Google, got that, left Accenture. I said deuces to Accenture and end up going over to Google. And honestly, at Google, this has been the best experience I've had as a black male on a team. And yet, I'm still the only black male on the team, one of the few in recruiting, but my experience have been great. My teammates are great. My manager is great. She understands me. I understand her. She know how I can contribute to the team, and she utilized my strengths. And that's how it's supposed to be. Now, I will say, even with a great experience at Google, I still feel like as a black male, I have to prove myself in, week out. I'm sometimes placed in positions to where I have to prove myself time in and time out. I'm capable. I know what I'm doing. I've been in recruiting for X amount of years. It's only but so many ways you could talk to a candidate. So many ways you could give out an offer. So many ways you can schedule interviews. There's so many ways for you to source candidates. There's so many ways to, like, sometimes some of the information, the things that you do in recruitment is the same. It's just different per role, and you just have to plug in what it is for that role. So for me, the job as a recruiter isn't hard at all. I know what I'm doing. I'm a very personable person. All my candidates love me. My candidate experience rating is high. Like, I know what I'm doing. So like sometimes when I get placed on a different role that I didn't work on, it's like sometimes like micromanaging by people that maybe have been on that team before. That's just been my experience, man. My experience in corporate America as a black male, it's not easy. Day in and day out, you gotta, prove yourself, and especially if you don't fit the mold and what they want you to be. So not technically just the color of your skin, but by the way you talk, by the way you act, by the way you do your job. Like I always say, I'm a personable recruiter. I'm a laid back recruiter. I'm not about to get on the phone with you and be like, hey, how you doing? And fake it. You know what I'm saying? And candidates love that I'm able to just have a conversation with them, cool, calm, and collected. I'm not forcing them. I'm not, down their throat. I'm not loud. I'm not fully overly excited. Like, we here. Like, I understand what's going on. I've been in your shoes before, and we're going to try to get you to the finish line. And that's how it is. And they always appreciate me because, for one, I respond quickly. And two, I'm personable. And three, I'm not trying to always sell them something and always sound extra excited and things like that. Like, I'm myself, and they appreciate that. I think the role of a recruiter differs. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have your extremely excited people. You're going to have your people that is a laid back. You're going to have your people. Like, it's not one-sided. But I do feel like at Accenture, my manager there was trying to make it one-sided. Like, just because I did things differently and it was successful for me, that means that I'm not doing my job and don't belong in that role. And the way I'm doing is just being me, by the color of my skin, by the way that I talk, and by my demeanor. But the results show that it's successful. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, my team at Google right now, I love my team, man. Everybody is great. Anytime you join a new team, a new company, you definitely got to prove yourself. You got to prove yourself more than others. That's just my experience. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes what you have on paper, what you've done in the past, people want to see for themselves if you could do that same thing. I don't know how many times I've told people like, yeah, in my past role, I had to do this and this don't even compare to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm used to this. I know what I'm doing. Like, cool. But they don't treat it as such. They want to see that, oh, he can handle that. He's capable. You know what I'm saying? That is, sometimes the challenge, man, in corporate America. But yeah, like I said, I enjoy my job. I enjoy working at Google. Great team. And out of all the companies that I've worked at, I haven't had an experience where I felt like I've been discriminated against or there's been any bias at Google. So I do appreciate how they've outlined the culture and how they've embraced me, especially my team, my managers. It's been wonderful. So I'm glad that I'm at a place coming up on 3 years at Google, but I'm at a place that I can be myself, be truly human, transparent, and I don't have to fake it. Like, I don't have to fake the funk. I don't have to fake like I'm overly excited. I don't have to have small chat all the time, small talk. I don't have to key. Everybody just respect what you bring to the table. They respect you for being you, bringing your authenticity, being truly human, and not having to switch up. And, switching up is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the reason I say switching up and not being yourself and not being authentic is because it pours into your mental. If you're ever, no matter your skin color, black, white, green, brown, purple, if you're in a role where you cannot be yourself, truly human, transparent, you're going to end up feeling it in your body, and it's going to feel like you don't belong there. You're going to feel like you're masking like who you want to be, and you're not going to be happy there. And that's the key to enjoying a role, not always like what you're making, the money you're making, but also, can you be happy in the role? And sometimes in order to be happy, that's just being able to be you, being able to be free and you. Because the last thing you need is to be in a role where you have to go in, day out from 9 to 5, faking it. Can't be authentic, can't be transparent. You faking it. You got to put on a costume when you go into the office, when you go into these meetings, and you feel that when you get out of those meetings. And it's the worst feeling ever. I'm just fortunate and thankful that I don't have to do that at Google. You know what I'm saying? I thank you. But at my past companies that I listed, I had to. And I know how it feels, and I know it takes a toll on your mental and how you feel. You feel drained. Your body don't feel good when you get off of work. You just want to sleep. You start to get into a slow depression because it's not who you are. Your body feel it. Your mind feel it. Your mental feel it. That's just the way it is. So if y'all don't gather anything from this video, even if you're not a black male, right? Hey, be yourself, man. And don't let nobody try to change who you are to fit what they feel like a personality is for a particular role. Do the role based on how you feel you could bring your own unique character to it as well. Because as long as you know the qualification, the skill set, and how to do your job, that's all that matters. It doesn't take someone to change who they are to be in the role. I've realized that, especially at my past 2 companies, that's what they were looking for. They had a specific person, specific personality, specific way somebody need to say something. And if they're not doing it like that, it looks different. And since it looks different, they don't know how to interact with that person. They don't know how to maneuver. They don't know if that person is serious or not, because it doesn't look like what they're used to. Instead of having the conversations, instead of just sitting somebody down and talk to them one-on-one and really ask them the questions, going beating around the bush, nah, that's not how it's supposed to work, man. Imagine the person that is sitting in that position and get wind of that. And that was the position I was in. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching this video. Hopefully it's been insightful. Hopefully it helped you all out. And, like I said, love where I'm at now. Love that I'm still here at Google. You know what I'm saying? With the landscape of the tech industry and jobs and stuff like that, I easily could have not been here, but thankful for it. Thank God every day for it. And I thank God for you all too, for supporting the channel, commenting, subscribing, doing all that stuff for your boy. But I'll catch y'all next video. Peace.